Pretty long countdown you got there, Paul.
Gives us time, Adam, just to get ready, to mentally focus, to prepare our best show. Now, what I think is funny is I actually think I'm muted, but I think your voice is not muted.
My voice is coming out, or my voice is coming out?
No, I think people can hear your voice talking right now.
Oh, okay. 1 minute.
Oh, you know what? They can hear my voice too. Well, this is a smooth running operation.
Well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Spilling the IT. Hope you're having a great Friday. It's 4 o'clock. You're probably wrapping up your workday. Who am I? Well, I have a fancy graphic that reveals that. I'm Paul. What's my title? Human. That's the most important one. Also, I work at Quest, which is an amazing company, and I'm lucky to work for them. Not only me, it's not only me. Today, we have Adam Burke. So, pretty excited. Adam,
Hey, Paul.
what's going on? How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. You like that intro?
That was solid. You're getting better at that. You're
Yeah?
getting better at that every week. Every week.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, I like the new platform too. If anyone notices, we're using Paul's got a new platform today. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. Adam, you're always so positive.
I'm a positive guy. You know, that's one of the things I've always been known for is my sunny disposition and radiant positivity. That's just who I am as a person.
Is it true in the military they called you Silver Linings?
No, that wasn't my nickname. I had a few nicknames, but that wasn't one of them.
Not Silver Linings? Because of your love for that film, Silver Linings Playbook? Just one of your favorites.
Excelsior, man. It's all about the Excelsior.
How's your week going?
It's good. It's good. Business has been good. Things are active. People are getting involved. I work in our channel sales and a lot of our partnerships, so things are getting active. We're seeing some stuff spike up right now. It's exciting. It's good to keep up with it. We're growing, so it's been good.
So speaking of keeping up, when I said like, hey, what do we talk about this week? What do you want to talk about? So I definitely want to get into UCaaS. We're going to talk about UCaaS today. But
okay,
what you messaged me back was you just said Microsoft, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm intrigued. So
yeah.
Do you want to talk about that first, or get into that later?
No, we can talk about Microsoft. I mean, we're just seeing right now in our business so many aspects of what Microsoft has done successfully over the past couple of years. People are getting more exposed to it. I mean, if you watch TV for more than 10 minutes, you've probably seen that Microsoft Teams commercial. So they're going after communication space. They've gone after software eats the world, right? So they've just continued to grow their practice, and we're just seeing more and more people asking for help in Microsoft. We put out a little business development effort to help folks with Active Directory, and it's weird. You never know when you have something that fits a need, and that was one of those that just all of a sudden. I don't know if it's because everyone's working from home or people are distributed, or everyone used to go to an office building and that's your domain and that's where people live and work. But a lot of people are asking for help in the Microsoft space, and I think just from a channel and from a sales standpoint, and from a just genuinely, what do people ask for help with? There's a lot of opportunity in our world right now in that realm. Lots of other realms too, but that's just one of them that we've seen people asking for help.
Were you surprised to see that happen, or were you kind of seeing the writing on the wall, like a lot of organizations turning to the Microsoft solutions?
So we had a Microsoft channel manager back in the day, guy named Crancer. He left Microsoft. He's running his own thing, but good guy. And he kind of broke it down for me. We're a what's called a tier 1 CSP. So we put licensing models together and subscription services, and we can help people with that. And what was interesting to me was everyone knows Office 365. Everyone knows, hey, you subscribe to licensing, it reports back to the mothership what you're using. You have a tenant that basically you basically say, hey, here's all my licensing subscriptions, and this is what I do. You have your Office products, you have Exchange, you have all those types of things. Mm-hmm. What was interesting was about 18 months ago, maybe longer now, I don't know, time's kind of flying by, but Microsoft went to...
Time is a flat circle, Adam. Time is a flat circle right now. That's what I hear people say. I think it's from a book.
Time is a flat circle.
If you're watching this and you know what Time is a Flat Circle is from, leave it in the comments, because I'd like to get educated. Sorry,
yep.
Adam, derailed you. You're making a powerful point, and I derailed you.
No, you're good. You're good. So what was interesting was they took the Office 365 licensing bundles, mm-hmm. and they started doing M365, Microsoft 365, and oftentimes vendors like Microsoft or Cisco or VMware or any of the huge ones in the world they'll like do a rebranding of something that it's always been, but they're just gonna, hey, this week it's this. So when I first saw Microsoft 365, I thought, okay, they're just rebranding Office 365 into a different licensing SKU, and they're changing some rules around, and we all got to jump through some hoops to get something done. But it really wasn't. It was more along the lines of, wow, they're bundling in things like communication. So we're talking a little bit about UCaaS today. They're bundling in things around communications and teams and collaboration. They're bundling in things like, OneDrive and multi-factor authentication. And if you look at there's a great slide that Sherman put together for me that basically showed all the different point solutions that people buy out there, mm-hmm. that Microsoft is just going at from a competitive standpoint. And it's pretty aggressive in the sense of like, okay, well, there's multi-factor authentication players. There's people out there who do, antivirus. There's people out there who do all these different point products, which are awesome and they're great. But I don't know about you, the fact that I can go through Amazon and pick a couple things and swipe right and the stuff's at my doorstep. People like easy. And when I saw the fact that Microsoft was making it very, very easy for the enterprises to consolidate all those single point products into a couple licensing SKUs, mm-hmm. that was like, whoa, I was gonna keep an eye on that. So we shifted there a little bit. We got some capabilities around, people who use terms, they kind of drive me nuts. They're marketing terms, and apologize to the marketing people, but things like digital transformation and
love it.
Thought leadership and all that kind of
can't get enough
stuff.
Of it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. No, but really it is taking businesses and kind of changing a little bit of the ways that they do business. Not by fundamentally changing what they're doing, but just fundamentally changing the way that they subscribe and use the products. And Microsoft is getting that right now, and they're definitely one to watch as all these things kind of consolidate into people love. If you're on any software call or any sales call, you'll probably hear terms like single pane of glass, mm-hmm. or visibility across the network, visibility across the stack. But they're getting closer to that, and Sorry, it's Friday afternoon, man, and I've been on sales calls for the last
Are
couple
you good at
hours.
poker? Are you good at poker, Adam?
Am I good at poker?
Yeah, I feel like you can't hold a poker face because you keep saying these terms and you're like, oh, I hate them.
No, when I play poker, I try to just look as pissed off as possible the entire time, and that's my poker face. So yeah, I once won a nice hand against a couple of our guys in the sales team by pretending I didn't know how to play Omaha. I think Brett and Andy Sams are still pissed off about that one. So.
That's nice. When I play poker, I tend to lose. That's my, not strategy, but outcome.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff.
So, so Adam, you're a thought leader, and I was wondering, do you have an idea of where that's kind of moving in the future? Like, do you think other organizations are noticing how successful Microsoft is with simplifying the SKUs and are going in that direction?
Well, yeah, I mean, so you're seeing more and more organizations take the this isn't anything new, the subscription-based licensing.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the reasons that Microsoft's cloud numbers blew up so much was because they started making their licensing required to call home and authenticate numbers. You used to be able to self-report or have you had license and that type of thing. All that's gone. So you have organizations like Cisco and VMware and Oracle Cloud and Google and all these organizations doing this subscription-based licensing. It's all software as a service is really the idea of you're getting a license, you're getting access to the capabilities this software is providing you,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to pay every month as long as you want to have that as part of your business. And so it's a huge opportunity to one, help companies get there, because you have to have a migration path to get there, and then leveraging all the new capabilities that are available to you is just it's a huge shift going on right now. It's a lot of fun, and there are other organizations mimicking what Microsoft is doing. They're hiring some of the same teams that help build that subscription model
Mm-hmm.
within the Microsoft world. You'll see organizations go down that same path. They name it things like XYZ vendor 1 or XYZ vendor, life cycle management is a big one. You hear this term called life cycle management.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically managing your subscription assets for that company.
Okay, just kind of all of them. They'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Is that
maintenance
something,
contracts, support, all that stuff? It's all consolidating.
and is that something that we do at Quest?
Yeah. We help folks consolidate. We help them track down what they have. One of the things is you just kind of got to do an infrastructure check to see, hey, what do I have in place right now? Where am I even at in this landscape? Like, what am I paying for right now? What do I have? I mean, even in your personal life, right? What's up?
It's kind of like a house cleaning almost.
Well, kind of like a house cleaning, but so my credit card somehow got hacked, and I bought Chipotle in New Jersey the other night, and I live in Arizona, so it's pretty hard for me to buy Chipotle in New Jersey.
It's true.
And so I canceled my credit card. Well, that's a good way to figure out all the things that you have tied to your credit card for subscription, right? All of a sudden you're getting a notice from Spotify or Apple or some random subscription you have. And it's like, oh shoot, I was paying for that every month. And that's what, I mean, that's how they get you. That's how they get you on the subscriptions.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to do from a assessment standpoint. Hey, what am I subscribed to right now? What am I paying for right now? How is this being used? We partner with a lot of folks in the telecom industry and people who have built a practice around brokering and managing circuits. It's the same game. They do this for clients all the time. They do what's called a telecom expense audit, right? You go back and you see, hey, what circuits am I subscribing to? What am I paying for? How does this look? You do the same thing for licensing. it's the same type of an asset, right? It's something that you're paying for month over month, and yeah, so that's what we do from an infrastructure standpoint, from a licensing standpoint.
I am on a personal note. I tend to lose my credit cards pretty frequently, way too much than a normal human should, and
Stick with beer.
I have to cancel my credit cards pretty frequently. And it is a benefit in that all of a sudden I will be notified that I'm paying for this or was, and the credit card they had on file no longer works. And I'm like, oh, I don't need that service anymore. So I'm not saying it's a solution, but losing your credit cards also a tactic.
I think that's what people would classify as a first world problem, and
yeah, it's Adam, silver lining. Silver lining is that I find out.
Silver lining, Excelsior.
I was like, oh, I'm still paying for HBO Max? I don't think I need this.
Yeah. Not with Game of Thrones, not on anymore. I mean, that was basically the only reason to watch HBO.
You know what? I know we're jumping ahead to a later segment, but have you seen Raised by Wolves on HBO Max? Ridley Scott?
No. Is it good? Is it good?
It's supposed to be amazing. I haven't watched it yet because I want to give it a few episodes before I dive in.
Raised by Wolves.
But
is that based on a novel or something like that? That's like science fiction, right?
It is science fiction. It's like the Earth is gone pretty much, and they send children to be raised by androids on another planet. That's all I know.
Oh.
But it's supposed to be amazing. So
Sweet.
look at Ridley Scott.
Does Elon Musk make any appearances in there? Any cameos by Elon?
Just a Tesla floating through the sky in the background, just as it moves through space.
I'm pretty sure he's already got a plan somewhere out there for that one.
Yeah.
Something going on there.
Yeah. Oh, so should we jump into? You want to jump into some UCaaS?
Sure.
Question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start here. Really simple. What does UCaaS mean?
It's Unified Communications as a Service. So it's basically your phones, your video conferencing, your collaboration tools, how you communicate internally and externally from your business. So
and it's all of those things underneath UCaaS.
Yeah, usually underneath one subscription. So there are some bolt-on services, like you can bolt on communications managers and kind of advanced stuff, bolt on I think they call it CCaaS and things like that. I can't keep up with all the terms, but basically firms like 8x8, Ring Central, Microsoft Teams is getting into this space big time. Fuse, Jive, they got bought, I think, by GoToMeeting or something like that. But yeah, lots of organizations in there, and it's really cool. It's Cisco and Avaya have kind of always been the enterprise on-premise folks. There's also there was ShoreTel, they got bought by Mitel, and there's tons of just phone systems and collaboration systems out there. But UCaaS is definitely shifting things up with basically taking the PBX and taking it offsite and providing it in the cloud as a service. So it's a cool way to subscribe to things. It's a good way to get your people linked in. We've seen a lot of it from we support remote workforces, and we support folks who have UCaaS across the globe. We're not a huge seller of UCaaS by any means. We do a lot of collaboration and enterprise stuff in the Cisco world, and that's a lot of our background. But we help folks with it all the time, and we're definitely seeing more and more people leverage our assistance there. So
I think sometimes people get confused too. Is VoIP UCaaS how are those different or the same?
A little bit of the same. Voice over IP is what VoIP stands for. So it's just digital communications. Typically, you're going to route that through a local PBX and have that all have the servers and those systems on site. UCaaS and cloud services like that is just all of those assets. You're sending them across the internet to wherever that platform is being hosted. So it's the same. everyone in the channel would roast me for even saying this, but it's the same assets that you would have in your data center.
Mm-hmm.
They're just distributed across multiple data centers out in the cloud, and providing that functionality as a service.
Wait, so why would people roast you? Just so you can get in front of this roasting, Adam. Why would they roast you?
Well, because there's a lot. I mean, I'm not a UCaaS specialist in any sense of the word. There's some really great people we work with who are solid there, but there are a million different ways to skin collaboration and making sure your voice and video traffic goes out there appropriately. We had one of our best partners, is a consulting group that brought us in. They had sold one of the big UCaaS providers. And they brought in one of our engineers, who went in there and basically said, hey, yeah, you can do that, but you're sending your voice traffic and your packets and everything like that, into the internet, and you're bouncing those packets around, and hopefully it works out. Maybe it won't, but establishing quality of service and tagging voice traffic and everything like that, and making sure it functions appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Voice is tough. It's getting better. It's gotten a lot better, but it's not a slam dunk. And the internet is still kind of the Wild West. I mean, you don't know where your traffic's going necessarily. There's no you and I are talking right now across the internet, and I don't know where these video packets are going or how it's routing to you necessarily. We're not on a point to point connection.
I never thought
this is going all over the place, and sometimes the routing tables get a little funky. I mean, you had one of the largest carriers, a week ago, take down a lot of upstream providers because they had a routing table issue. And
really,
if you're sending your voice traffic out over the internet and you don't necessarily have a secured connection, sweet, good luck. Yeah. It definitely works, but it's you got to make sure how you're connecting is not always a slam dunk, and that's. Long way around saying it. One of our strongest partners right now, we called that out, and we had a little bit of a disagreement, but we also built a better relationship with their client because we called that out. We established them as a trusted advisor, bringing us in to help manage that with them. So, but the difference between UCaaS and VoIP is VoIP's typically on-prem. Voice over IP, and UCaaS is those assets that typically used to sit in your data center locally or are in your office. Mm-hmm. Those phone lines are going across the internet, either across SIP trunks or something like that out to the cloud. So
kind of like taking all that into consideration, not really knowing where the packets necessarily are going. What are the benefits of UCaaS? Like why would somebody want to kind of embark and use UCaaS?
Well, one of the biggest things is you can have enterprise grade collaboration and video, and top of the line stuff for anywhere from 20, 25, 15, whatever bucks a month per user. So you subscribe to something, you don't have to we came from the VAR world. We would sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of hardware, mm-hmm. millions of dollars worth of hardware to enterprises to stand up what people can now subscribe to for $20 per month. Wow. So organizations used to have to buy millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to support their phone systems for their companies. You don't have to do that anymore. That's a big shift. That's a huge shift. Avaya went bankrupt and came out of bankruptcy, and people in the channel always like to tout the death of the on-prem PBX. I don't necessarily care one way or the other if the on-prem's dead or if you go to the cloud. What's the customer trying to do? But the ability to get enterprise grade services for a subscription totally disrupted that market, completely disrupted that market. And the weird thing is, I think, again, I'm going to get mocked for this because there's channel people out there who know these numbers back and forth, but maybe 10% of the market is leveraging unified communications right now.
Ooh, how could you say that?
I don't know. Just Google it. If you're watching this, or if you're not, go ahead and mock me in the comments. But there's a
And
very
if you're not
small
watching this
percentage.
and still want to mock Adam in the comments, that's even more
Yeah,
hurtful. You won't even watch it, but you're just like, I'm going to mock this guy. It's a
yeah,
horrible thing.
yeah, yeah. No, there's not without getting into specifics. There's a very small percentage of the market that's actually shifted to cloud-based services for collaboration.
Okay.
There's still a lot of on-prem out there, so there's still an opportunity to refresh that, to build on that, or to help people transition to a as a service model. And they're all figuring it out. All the big vendors are figuring it out and putting their hat in the ring on how to do it. I think Ring Central right now is trading at, I don't know, their stock price has just gone astronomical, which is interesting to see. Just their forward earnings multiple is pretty crazy. So good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anybody thinking about using UCaaS, what should they consider before going down that route?
What are you trying to do? What's your normal workflow look like? Is video a big deal? Are you looking to integrate it? With are you a sales organization? Are you a services organization? Are you looking to set up collaboration, between your people and between the outside world? How do you want calls to route? How do you want to do it? Do you need to have I still have a traditional VoIP phone on my desk here that goes back to HQ. Do you want it to be a soft phone on your laptop, or do you want it to be, do you want it on your, do you want all your calls to route to your cell phone? How do you want to set it up? How do your users work today? And then from a security perspective, hey, how do you want to establish that connection and make sure it's consistent? There are ways to put up point-to-point connections and establish secure lines between your HQ and route that to a hosting provider. There are ways to do that. There are ways to establish what's called quality of service. And then also if you're having if you run like a call center, or if you run like if you're receiving inbound calls from, your constituents or from your customers, how do you want that traffic to be handled? Do you want to have visibility of how long people are on hold? Do you want to be able to pass someone with current notes over to someone else? How do you want to manage that traffic? There are tons of cool things you can do with all the platforms right now. Just help work with a partner who knows how to walk through those use cases with you and build some with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think you addressed this because you mentioned, I think you addressed this already, but would you say that UCaaS is easy to move if a company is moving from one location to another? Yeah, it's scalable for sure. Is it easy to also move to one location to another?
It's definitely flexible for users that are transitioning between locations, and and if you have a good track of how your people are moving, you can certainly adjust on the fly. It's very powerful that way. It's not always the easiest thing to move to. So if you have an established business and you have certain call flows and scripts and all that kind of stuff, you want to make sure you document how your workflows are currently written out, and then how you want to transition those to a UCaaS provider. And how am I going to get from this legacy system that I've had for the last 15 years to the new hotness? How are you going to do that? So
cool. Anything else you want to? I know we're coming up on 30 minutes, so I just want to respect everybody's time. Is there anything else you kind of wanted to talk about in UCaaS, or anything else kind of in the industry right now that you've noticed?
No, people right now, we're still seeing a lot of folks needing help with security. We kind of mentioned the Active Directory needs. Something that a lot of people probably, maybe, I'm not sure if you've taken a look at it, but we put together a workshop around E911. So E911 is there's some regulations that are coming out as a mandate from the government that basically says anybody in your enterprise, anybody in your organization, if you're creating a new platform, or you're moving voice systems, and they dial 911, they have to be able to dial 911. And there's two things that have to happen. One is you can't do like a dial out. So like a 9, and then like everyone's been in a hotel room where you dial 9 and you have to try to dial out. Mm-hmm. Can't do that anymore. And there's some regulations around if you dial 911 from your location, that operator has to know where you are, right? So like think about the idea of, hey, I'm in a large business park or something like that. I dial 911. That has to be tagged. That phone line has to be tagged and identified to a specific location. It can't just be a general area, or worse, it can't be routed to like another location in a totally different state, right? So if you're sitting in Texas and your voice traffic goes through Colorado and you call 911, mm-hmm. It cannot show that dispatch person that you're calling out of Colorado. So that's a big change. Mm-hmm. That's a big shift. And I'm not quite sure a lot of the market is ready for it. Mm-hmm. From a transition standpoint, and from a liability standpoint, from a business liability standpoint, there are going to be lawyers, God bless them, and we love them, strategically going after organizations probably that, hey, don't meet these regs. So not to throw any FUD out there, but it's real, and the regulation shifted. So if you're managing phone systems and you need any help with E911 or getting that right, that's something that we help out with.
So. Actually, I believe if people go to questsys.com, we have a whole article about what you need to know and what we can potentially help you with. So
we do. I think that was our strategic advisor last week. So yeah.
So it's on the website. So it's just kind of an insightful dive. Like basically the information's there if you'd like to go take advantage of it. Questsys.com, I think it's right there on the homepage. So definitely take advantage of the information. So Adam, it brings us to one of our most popular segments. What are you watching?
What am I watching? I'm reading a book right now called Boomerang by Michael Lewis. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Awesome book, really good book. If you want to check it out, it's a good one. And then I'm not actually watching it, but I do happen to be in the room sometimes when The Real Housewives of New York is on. I don't mind watching it. Definitely not watching it, but I am in the room, and my wife happens to watch it, and that was what I watched last night. So that will live in perpetuity forever on the internet.
It will.
And I will. Yeah.
Well, Adam, I'll let you know that I don't watch Selling Sunset, but if I'm walking by the living room and it happens to be on, I'll linger for a few minutes and watch Selling Sunset. So yeah. I'm right there with you, Adam.
I was trying to pitch Wild Kingdom on National Geographic. It follows a pack of hyenas as they grow up and dominate the landscape against a pack of lions. I think it's called Wild Kingdom or Royal Blood or something like that.
Okay.
But that didn't fly past the goalie. So
yeah. No. Well, those are two equally great options, Adam. What am I watching? Have you seen Frankenstein Chronicles?
No.
We just finished season 1 of Frankenstein Chronicles. Has Sean Bean in it. Is it Beam or Bean? I think it's Bean, who was in the first season of Game of Thrones before spoiler alert, succumbing to a beheading. So
the one does not simply walk into Mordor guy? That guy?
Yes. Yeah, the dad, the House of Stark, the guy.
Oh, Ned Stark. Yeah, he was Ned Stark.
Ned Stark. So it's good. It's definitely graphic, so I would say not for children. So if there's a child watching this right now, I wouldn't. Don't.
Is that a Netflix thing? Is that a Netflix thing or an Amazon thing?
Netflix thing, 2 seasons. We just watched the first season, so it's pretty good.
Netflix is doing great on the whole children thing right now. So
Yeah. Well, they're throwing money at everything, Adam. They got tons of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not reading anything. So Adam, you educated guy. Way to go. I'm not reading anything.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, Adam, any final thoughts?
Nothing right now. Just everyone have a good weekend, and yeah, that's about it. That is about it.
And be safe, everybody, and we'll see you next week. And next week, Tim Burke will be here. And I said it, so now it has to happen.
We got to do it earlier. I think we got to do like a 6:30 a.m. edition.
That, honestly, that's probably exactly what he would like to do. So, all right, let's make it happen.
All right.
All right,
cool.